Oh, yeah, that's true. Why is that the saddest picture in the world?
Because somebody spilled a whole tray of bacon.
Oh, no.
That is the saddest picture in the world. That's probably an overstatement to say the saddest in the world, but that is a pretty sad...
That's pretty sad. They have a little bit... There's a little bit left in the pan.
There's a little bit there. I'll have to save that meme and put it up somewhere else. That's not what we're here for, though. We're here to talk about arachnophobia. That's what we're here for.
Welcome to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
You are listening to the Vicis Interimo show, 30 Minutes to Kill. More or less. The incredible podcast with the unpronounceable name. We are a horror entertainment podcast featuring mostly spoiler-free discussions of horror, suspense and psychological thrillers. I am your horror host, Michael Mad Saxon Jones, here with my lovely wife Lori. The show is usually broken up into 4 parts. Laid to Rest, where we tie up loose ends from earlier shows. Followed by our featured movie review. Garbage in Garbage Out, is where we talk about anything we have watched, seen online or even read since the last show. Lastly, we always try to end the show with a crawling chaos. A topic or factoid we have never talked about on the show before. Sometimes silly, sometimes serious, but always chaotic.
Yeah, and who are we? We are, of course, Vicis Interimo, 30 Minutes to Kill, More or Less, the awesome podcast with the unpronounceable name. I'm thinking about getting that on one of my play mats for Magic the Gathering. I'm going to do a nice big mat that just says Vicis Interimo, the awesome podcast with the unpronounceable name.
Well, then you need to make several and give some away.
Maybe I could do some mouse pads. Who would? Well, I don't know. Anyhow. All right, so...
Because people would want those.
They might. They may not if we keep doing shows like this.
Dear.
Episode 317 is what we're looking at.
That's...
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, of course, before I get into anything, I always want to thank the patrons. The patrons being at Lonely Bob, Big Al V, and Golda Fish. Mm-hmm. They certainly help us continue the show, and we appreciate that. You know what the question that's going to follow up this little intro is?
What's that?
Do you have anything for Laid to Rest?
Oh.
Anything that you feel like we didn't cover from...
let's see. Last week we talked about Winchester.
Yeah, we even posted some pictures of our trip to the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could find those if you want to by going online to VICISINTERIMO Facebook. You can find our groups there, our pages, the Vicis Interimo page for the podcast and the group page. At any rate, did you have any loose ends?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Jeez.
We were just talking about how lame that is that we don't really have. But I mean, that's good because there's maybe not too many flubs that we're doing on the previous shows we have to clean up. And
I do think I was particularly annoying on last week's episode.
Oh, okay. That could be possible.
So there's that.
Well,
I'm going to do better this week.
All right. Well, that gives us more time just to get right into talking about arachnophobia. It's kind of like Family Week on the Vicis Interimo pod. Well, there's that, and then our Throwback Thursday episode is going to be Phenomena with an A, as you kept pointing out. And that was we talk about our niece who liked that at the age of 10 or 11 or whatever. That was one of her favorite horror movies.
That's right.
So, anyhow, you can hear that later on the week, which will be on Throwback Thursday. But right now, let's get into arachnophobia.
The Jennings family has just moved to the small town of Canaima.
Oh, Ross, smell that air. Oh, God.
In search of a simpler life.
Want a bullfrog? Okay.
It's the perfect place.
Goodbye crime, goodbye grime.
Except for one pesky little problem.
Come with me and look at the web.
The web? I have a
Terrible fear of spiders. Come on, we live in the country now. It's time to work through this irrational, paralyzing terror.
It's not irrational.
Hollywood Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present Jeff Daniels.
Honey, we're in the living room. We need you to kill a spider.
And John Goodman.
Go for McClintock, infestation management.
I thought it's just a spider.
Would anybody object if I tore this floor out?
I would.
False alarm, then lead on. There's no spider here.
Every so often in a little town somewhere, there is a health scare.
There's a rumor going around that some kind of spider might have killed Sam Metcalf.
Doubtful.
Spiders make convenient culprits.
There's no spider here.
I think one of your Venezuelan spiders hitched a ride here. There may be some spiders around here that are very dangerous.
Dad, chill out.
Just run.
They spread out from a central nest in a web-like pattern and dominate the entire area. When that happens, this town is dead.
Better uncork my private stock.
Hollywood Pictures and Amblin Entertainment present Arachnophobia. 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude.
Perk up, Lloyd. If we find the spider that did this, you can arrest him.
Arachnophobia, a thrill-omedy.
Okay, well, this movie is from 1990.
And it shows.
Is that just a one-sentence synopsis?
It is. You miss those ones from Netflix, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I think the IMDb ones are maybe more accurate, though. But anyhow.
Maybe. Well, this says, a species of South American killer spider hitches a lift to the USA in a coffin and starts to breed and kill. That's all very accurate.
It is very accurate. So,
I actually saw this in the theater when it came out.
I'm not sure how I missed it.
You somehow, through all these years, have missed it. So I chose this one, and I know it's not really a horror movie per se. I mean, horror is personal. If you're scared of spiders, then this is absolutely horror. Like you said, it's like Family Week on Vicis Interimo, which is fine. This is a great horror movie for the kids.
For the whole family, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was entertaining enough.
Oh, yeah, for us, too.
Well, there was a certain amount of nostalgia attached to it for you. And for me, watching it just because it was very 90s / 80s.
It held up.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I hadn't seen it since I saw it in the theater. But there was a lot of scenes I really remembered. A lot of scenes really stuck with me.
Okay.
So I was afraid, though, I was going to watch it and be, disappointed or think it was lame, but I didn't. It was really fun watching it.
Well, funny you should mention that because I'm thinking of, you've said you didn't see House. Now, I was listening to, was it Short Bus Cinema or whatever, when they were talking about the movie House and stuff, and
yeah.
I can't believe I haven't seen that because I just love the House, and I like House too. Also, anyhow, my point was we'll be doing that again. I'm hoping that one doesn't fall apart on
House?
a more recent.
Are we going
to
do both of them?
We might do both. We might throw them both in together.
Feature?
Maybe we'll do a double feature.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Maybe that's the one I'll film when we talk about them.
Well, I liked your leprechaun idea. But we have to get you some leprechaun gear.
We didn't get my leprechaun hat for our...
Oh, we could go back and get it.
Right. We're getting off the topic. The topic is arachnophobia.
Yes.
Why is it the people must eat around dead bodies? That is a scene in every flippin' movie, TV show, whatever. The coroner or whatever is so blasé.
Yes.
In this, the funeral home director.
If they work in a morgue, if they work at if they're doing an autopsy, any person dealing with dead bodies or cutting them open or getting them ready for their funeral, whatever. They're always eating a sandwich.
There's always having a sandwich or some
have their
chips.
hand in a bag of something.
They got that.
You're right. That's really funny.
Well, so that brings up a point with this movie. You get all of those things that were standard for a horror movie. Again, going back to this being a family film-ish, it's Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg and Steven. I hiccup. Whatever.
Spielberg. Steven Spielberg.
And Frank Marshall was the director.
Yeah.
So it
showed. It was a quality movie. It wasn't one of those older 80s or early. It is 1990, but it really had that. I would have put it in the late 80s.
Yeah.
It kind of has that feel.
It does have that feel.
But not the. I don't want to say not the lame.
It had a certain amount of corniness.
But the lameness thing isn't a bad thing. The 80s horror movies have a certain amount of corny lameness to them that's awesome.
And this takes its time
but
to...
this one doesn't have that.
Develop the story. So it's not just a throwaway piece.
And too bad the synopsis gave away the... I mean, did you know what was going to...
I knew what was going to happen.
I guess you got to figure one of these things is going home with somebody.
It's called arachnophobia. Somebody's getting... attacked her. It's not alien freaks though, but it's...
But I mean, it gives... it's spoiled that somebody dies right in the beginning.
Well, I mean, it's got only one body. That wouldn't be much of a horror movie. So, there's going to be bodies.
It introduced a couple characters. When a movie starts out and you get, your main characters get introduced and stuff, you don't expect someone to keel over right away.
Well, no, and...
I remember being surprised in the theater because it was like, I was... the movie starts, like I said, there's the introduction, you're learning who the people are, you're getting to know them, and then suddenly one is just gone. It's like, I guess he's not the main character.
Well, see, now I want to bring up like a specific actor, but I'm afraid to say that because then that's like, that's the character that dies? This isn't necessarily the character that dies, but early on, I see Julian Sands in the movie. And I love, but of course the first thing I'm thinking about is we have to do Warlock now. I can't believe we've gone this long and not done Warlock.
Yeah.
Because... And
I'd forgotten he was in that. It's been so long since I've seen that.
It's such an awesome movie.
I was so mesmerized by him because he looks like like he wants to be a Weasley sibling. Okay. He would fit right into the family as the oldest Weasley son that you didn't meet yet.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of good quality actors in here. You got Jeff Daniels, John Goodman. Well, we'll get back to him in a second. And so it's kind of a feel-good, fun movie, too. I mean, people are dying. It's weird to talk about it being like fun and exciting, or not exciting, but... but it's plays
fun and exciting and feel good as people are being sucked dry by killer spiders.
But you know what I mean. You're listening to this podcast. You know what I'm talking about. Sorry about those technical difficulties there. But here's the thing.
Oh, no.
This was...
That's my fault.
It plays with their expectations too, the way it's set up. I mean, the way scenes are shot.
Well, do you want to talk a little more about the story? Because, a killer spider from South America hitches a ride in a coffin.
Yeah.
So hitches a ride to a small
town.
Yeah, a small California, Central California kind of coastal town.
Right.
A family. The dad is a doctor
who's moved there from the Bay Area to take over
Frisco.
a practice.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what I mean. There's a lot of story set up and stuff like that.
They were living in my house.
You wish that was your house.
I do, except for they had dry rot in the basement. We can't have that.
No.
But yeah, they had moved into they got a house in the country and had a barn and...
and all the perils that are associated with that is what you get introduced to here.
And it was kind of funny because they were, they're the city people. I don't know why they bought
fish out of water. I mean, that's part of the story too. To get away from it, they wanted to be away from the hustle and bustle of the.
Yeah, but the town was cute, and other people lived closer into town. There was one of the people lived in a regular neighborhood.
Well, why did we buy a house where there was only 108 people in the town? Because it was there and it was available.
Yeah, but we're not big city folk either.
Okay.
They went from Frisco, like you said, they were used to the city life and the hustle and bustle and the traffic and then they bought a house out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, they had neighbors they could walk to and stuff, so it was close enough.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I understand what you're saying.
They could have got a house in town, is what I'm saying.
Point is that, yes, there's all of these things to consider, and you just kind of sit back and enjoy the movie. And I think you would enjoy it with multiple people. This isn't one you would throw on and watch by yourself, I don't think. Not these days. I mean, I don't know.
Wait, why not?
I don't know. This might be a little weird. I was just thinking it'd be more enjoyable to sit down and enjoy with a family or whatever.
Okay.
I couldn't see myself throwing Arachnophobia on just by myself to watch it.
Okay. Well, you've already seen it, though, now.
Okay. All right.
So it's not a rewatchable one unless you're, like, hanging out with the, making popcorn and having the kids over and stuff. It would be fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The next time you're home alone, you're not going to go,
I want to throw this on.
I'd love to watch Arachnophobia again.
Probably
But you
not.
would watch it again.
I would definitely watch it again.
Okay.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons I would...
Now that we've cleared that up.
is, I guess you're going to narrow in on where our numbers on this are going to be and so on, is the supporting cast, and specifically John Goodman's character.
Yes.
As the exterminator. So I was going to ask you, do you have a list of favorite exterminators?
Well, I guess Fet would probably at the top of my list.
Well, Fet's definitely going to be at the top of the list if we just watched, because we just finished The Strain, the whole thing.
Well, it's not because we just finished watching it, though.
No, okay.
He still would have come to mind.
That would have come to mind? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of
Tucker
many.
Cleveland is one that I would, because I had a couple other picked out, but technically not exterminators.
Okay, who's Tucker Cleveland?
If you, actually no, he's not. Tucker Cleveland from. Give me a second here. Brad. I cannot think of his name. He played Reimer Wormcom. Anyhow.
I
Graveyard
love him.
Shift.
Yeah.
Yes, Graveyard Shift when he came in as the exterminator.
Remember when I said something about him being like, how did I put it? Really appealing or something. Do you remember that?
I do remember that episode when we did Graveyard Shift for the podcast, and you talked about him being appealing.
And I don't remember, we were talking about something he was in where he was not appealing.
Yes.
But I was like, yeah, he was really appealing in that.
And now all I have is that scene of him going to shake his hand with the rat in his hand. Yeah. Anyhow, so another one of those things.
He's a nice looking man.
He can be. He's of course the Chuck of Voicey. Wow. Dyslexia.
Voicey.
He is the voice of Chucky.
There you go.
You would know him from lots of different. Anyhow, that supporting character though, what I was initially thinking of was, I can't think of his name now because he played Cliff on Cheers, but he played Bill Turner in House 2. He was the electrician that comes in, but it's the guy you call this person in.
House and House 2?
That was yet another reason why I was thinking
around,
of that. Anyhow, my point was, it's another one of these fun things that they've somewhat lost in movies, or maybe don't fit in the movies that we watch today.
Yeah.
But this character that's introduced in your second or third act, maybe usually the third act, that comes in but has plenty of personality and carries through the movie. Though John Goodman's there,
and he's going to come in as the hero
of sorts,
save the day. Maybe.
Anyhow,
that was a great part there.
So
there was lots of fun characters.
There was a lot of
movie.
fun things to have. This is, like I said, this is a movie you watch to have fun with.
Yeah,
you're not necessarily putting it on strictly as a horror.
Right. Though again, if you don't like spiders,
there were, and if there, well, that's one of the other things that I had down here to talk about was fears, because this does touch on. Well, arachnophobia, obviously, that's one of the main fears.
Well, and one of our main characters is the one with arachnophobia.
Yeah.
That's, I guess.
So, do you have any
called that.
Arguably irrational fears like that? My head's moving all over. I hope the mic is picking this up.
I hope so, too. You're going to be getting louder and quieter.
Anyhow, any irrational fears?
Any irrational fears?
That you choose to talk about or bring up?
I don't know.
Okay, I've got the claustrophobia thing.
That's not an irrational fear.
It is when you're like getting underneath the house, I could have...
No, because you could get stuck under there. No, I can't handle that kind of stuff either.
Okay. Well, it's funny you should mention that, or funny-ish that I should mention that, because you had that problem the first time in the Winchester house, didn't you?
I was just going to say, now we've come back to the Winchester Mystery House.
Right.
Yeah, the first time I went in it, they start you out in the garage, and there's a tiny little door with you have to duck, because it only comes to, I don't know, well, if you're my height, it comes to about, your chest or so? Mm-hmm. I don't remember. But yeah, basically you crawl through a little hole and you go up this little staircase, and it has the switchbacks and a low ceiling just for a little while. Mm-hmm. But when they're stuffing through 30 people, I started to go in and saw all of these just basically legs and butts in front of me moving real slow. Everyone, you have to bend down and go.
Yeah.
And people were coming up behind me. I turned around and pushed my way back out, and I had to go last. And so when you and I went, I was like, man, I hope they don't start in the garage again and make us go through that little door. And they did.
Yeah. But I was there, so it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, and I knew to go last.
There you go.
And we let the people go. I had to let the people go a little ways.
So... yeah, it's interesting. So they talk about that, arachnophobia. Of course, Jeff Daniels' character suffers from it.
Yeah.
And which is another funny scene. It's probably given up in the trailer and stuff with, come on, let's go get your mom. She needs to kill a spider. It's just, there's funny things in there to enjoy.
Yeah.
Anyhow, my point was, I was going to say, we probably talked about this enough. What is your rating on this movie?
That's a hard one, because as a fun family horror, it's pretty strong. It's got everything in there.
I would give it a 4.
Yeah.
I would give it a 4 for somebody that's never seen it.
Definitely.
It's worth checking out and stuff.
I think so, too.
Understand, now that you've heard us talk a little bit about it, you understand what you're going to get. It's not a thrill a minute. There are jump scares. There's legitimate creepy scares. There's setups as far as, you see the attack coming, you see and maybe it happens or maybe it doesn't.
And it's just kidding.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh my God, it's going to get him. Oh, no.
You almost got it that time.
Yeah.
Thinking about the guy with the dollar bill and the insurance company. Anyhow, insurance commercial. You almost got it.
I got you $1.
I got you $1.
So anyhow,
we got to be quicker than that.
The recommend, though, is a solid recommend once to watch it, but then from there on out, it's not really a high recommend to rewatch unless you're going to sit down and have fun with the family. That's all right.
I agree.
All right. So let's, we don't have a lot this time from going from a lot to nothing. We don't have a lot to talk about. I guess it's because we're binge watching everything at this point.
Yeah.
Let's go on to
that's a horrible new thing that's come into the world.
Let's come on and talk about garbage in, garbage out. Before we go much further, we haven't talked about the fact you've changed your name to BagEndTrader.
Yes.
Yeah. So you, of course, sell on eBay and Etsy, though more on Etsy than anything else these days.
I've switched.
Anyhow,
all my money was going to everybody's stinking free shipping.
So my question really was...
what was the question?
You have BagEndTrader. That's what...
Yes.
We'll include that link in the show notes.
Okay, because now I just have my Etsy store.
Okay, so there you go.
Yes.
Let's get on with what we've been watching then.
Okay.
Westworld. The TV show.
Yes.
Well,
as opposed to what?
As opposed to the 1970-something Michael Crichton written screenplay starring Yul Brynner.
Right.
The coolest bald guy I know.
I think, yes.
Well, I grew up watching him and thinking he was such a stud that I could shave my head just like that.
There you go.
And eventually I did and do. But anyhow, Westworld is what we're talking about now.
Westworld.
Yeah. Awesome show.
Very good, yes.
Lots of nudity. Not because of that, but there's a lot of nudity in there.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot. But anyhow, it fits the subject matter and so on, though
Well, it's also, it's HBO.
It's HBO, yeah. So you're going to have the F word, and you're going to have, pushing those envelopes as far as those things go. But story-wise, it's tight. J.J. Abrams, one of the producers on it.
Thought-provoking.
And it is. I was going to say, the best thing about Westworld, in recent memory, since we binge-watched the entire first season, I don't think I can think of, in recent memory, any show that we've stopped as many times as we possibly could while watching it to discuss something like, I don't want to miss what's going on screen, but I have to bring up this point right now. What do you think is blah, blah, blah?
There's a ton
what's happening
going on in there.
And as it unfolded, we maybe a little bit less, because we, started to pick up some speed and momentum, and we each had our theories as to what was going to happen. Some of them were correct, some of them weren't. There were a few surprises in there. We've talked about it before. We're such TV bugs or, entertainment bugs that we are often hard to fool when it comes to stories, and we sometimes spot those things coming. But this still had a couple of good surprises, and we were right on a couple of our things that we picked out early on, and so on. But all in all, just an awesome show. I'm looking forward to the second season starting.
Me too.
I think
sci-fi, of course. Anyone who's listened to this show more than a few times knows sci-fi is my favorite genre.
Your favorite, absolutely.
And I do love a Western.
And this is the best of both worlds as far as that goes.
It's a fake Western, but
but they have those story themes built into it. So
boy, it sure makes you not like people, though.
A large point of the story.
I was like, man, this is not making me like humanity or people at all.
Yeah.
It is not helping.
So, at any rate, I'll need to include one of the other podcasts and stuff that talks about Westworld, but that's really it. Like I said, we've been binging everything, so that's really it. You've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I've been working on this flipping computer of mine and trying to sort out my issues with Podomatic. Some virus has attached itself to my Podomatic page, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In my laptop and on the PC. I'm not getting the errors and stuff on my actual PC, but I can't access
when you're on Firefox.
When I'm on Firefox, I cannot do that. I can't upload.
It's a Firefox problem. Did you get on my computer on Firefox
and try? I did not try
and
your computer and stuff, but I will get this episode edited and uploaded, so that'll... But,
and if anyone has any advice on purchasing a new laptop, we're not wealthy people, but we don't want to buy $100 special,
Yeah.
We'll spend a little more than that, but we really can't. So if anybody knows of a good,
of what to do, preferably something with an optical drive, something with that I can plug a CD into, because we've already talked about the fact we're Luddites, so
but if not, that's okay. Just something that's reliable, good battery life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Just a simple laptop that you could get your work done on.
True enough.
So if anyone has some advice.
Awesome. We need to end with a crawling chaos.
Okay. Do you have one?
I have one of sorts.
Because if you don't, we're going to end up talking about Gudetama.
We'll save
and I don't have a lot to say.
We'll save Gudetama for another time.
Okay.
All right.
I just love him so much.
Indeed. So, we like to think about ourselves. I think we're introspective, I guess is what the word I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's listened to the podcast, we try to do more than just a horror movie, something gory splatter. We're always interested in the story. We're interested in the way we think, what we think, why we think. We talk about the feels of the movies. Yeah. We don't necessarily lay out the synopsis and give you everything. Okay, people know this. So it's interesting when I came across the video that suggested that it might be an ancient virus that's responsible for our consciousness.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep thought, huh? Well, there's arguably, some scientific proof to back that up. And I'll try to include that video. But scientists have found this little thing that's attached itself to us and worked its way into the genome.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna I'm gonna send you straight. I'm gonna send you straight to the video to watch it because I know I'm going to do a terrible job explaining it and how it works. But they're postulating that around 400 million years ago, this stuff got mixed in with our genetic code and has become part of our genetic makeup.
So that implies that man didn't have consciousness before that.
Well, not even man, because we're talking, way past.
Oh, that said evolution. Did you say four-legged?
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait, so.
But it eventually.
So basically, everything was just animals before that, just.
Right. And the memory wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the age-old argument of what is consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. And where is it located?
Yeah.
Things that we like to ponder, I have no answers, but I find it fascinating, and I'm sure people more intelligent than I could narrate that.
Most larger animals, if they're alive, they have consciousness. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to watch that. I'm getting ready to ask you questions you're not going to be able to answer.
Okay, then fine. I'll just send you the link too.
Okay.
Anybody can find the links. Go to Podomatic.
Because I didn't quite understand. So you said 400 million years ago?
No, approximately. I mean, who was back there to write this down?
It's thinking, right. Well, that's it,
That's why I said postulating and, theorizing and so on.
So it's before man was man and the animals and things that came beforehand.
Depending on what you believe and how it got there and so on. It's fascinating stuff for me to think about and look at. It is.
So there's a couple different psychology classes I had when I was at the university that you would have really enjoyed.
There was a lot of them, sure.
Well, actually, you kind of went through school with me, didn't you?
Kind of did.
Which is nice because you're the one paying for my school loan. So
well, there's that.
I'll share my degree with you and my honors. You helped me get there. You made it possible.
At any rate, before we lose all our listeners, thanks. Thank you all for tuning in. I think we killed it, or we should kill it here if nothing else. Enjoy the upcoming episode here for Phenomena. I guess I'm going to keep doing
for Throwback Thursday.
For the Throwback Thursday. I'm going to keep doing that, I guess, until we run into a...
Is that a ratty?
Yeah, if they remove a certain part of that brain and stuff, he can't remember anything for more than 24 hours.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What they do, steal his hippocampus?
No, they stole that ARC gene or whatever out of there. So, anyhow, we're getting off topic again.
We have a video running, and I looked over, and it's like, what is that?
All right.
It's very distracting.
Indeed.
Look at those things colliding.
So, as always, you can email me directly at madsaxon, MADSAXXON, at yahoo.com. You can find us on Podomatic. The webpage is still there. The show is there. You can find our show notes there. We've, you can find
everything's there on Podomatic, but you just can't get to it to work on it.
I just can't work on it and stuff. Other people can see the stuff.
That's a problem.
You can go to iTunes, Stitchers, Podomatic, Podpickle, Blueberry, you name it. Just type in VICISINTERIMO, Vicis Interimo, and you'll find us.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Did you wonder why I said I was annoying last week?
No, I just figured you probably were. Why were you annoying last week?
When I listened to it back, I should have counted how many times I said like. It's a bad habit. It's lazy speaking.
Like how many times?
Oh, like, and then like this happened. Oh my gosh. I was listening to it and I thought,
I don't sound like that.
What am I, a teenager back in high school? Though I don't think we didn't say like when we were in high school. We probably said something else, but it was annoying. So I was like, oh, see? I just said it. So I was like, I'm not going to say like this week. But you know what? I said it once when we were talking about Winchester Mystery House. Because I was telling you a story, walking through the, getting my claustrophobia and all that.
Yeah. I'm still recording, right?
No.